All right, today we are pulling back the curtain on one of the biggest shifts happening in personal finance. We're going to talk about how to stop being just a customer of the bank and instead learn how to become the bank. This is all about putting your money to work for you, not for them.
That might sound a little dramatic, but think about this for a second. You work hard for your money, right? You put it in a place you think is safe, a savings account. But every single day, without you even noticing, a little bit of its value just vanishes. It's like a silent theft, and it's happening to almost all of us.
So, what exactly is this magic trick? Well, it's the slow, steady erosion of your purchasing power. And the simple truth is, every second your cash just sits in a regular old savings account, it's actually losing its ability to buy things. You know that coffee that cost you $3 last year? Well, this year it might be $3.10. That right there is inflation in action.
We're all taught to think of a savings account as this super secure fortress for our money. I mean, it feels safe, doesn't it? It feels protected, stable. You put $1 in and you just know that $1 is going to be there tomorrow. But that feeling of safety, it's mostly an illusion.
Because here's the thing, while your money is just sitting there, there's this hidden force constantly at work. That force is inflation. And it's like a thief, quietly picking the lock on your financial future and devaluing every single dollar you've worked so hard to save. And look, the math here is brutally simple. Your bank might give you a tiny, tiny return, maybe 0.5% if you're lucky. But if inflation, the cost of everything, is going up by 3.5%, you are not breaking even. You're actually losing 3% of your money's real value every single year. Think about that. You are literally paying the bank for the privilege of letting them use your money. For centuries, there was just no way around this. The bank was the necessary middleman, right? The gatekeeper, standing between the people who had money and the people who needed it. But you know what? The internet has a real habit of destroying gatekeepers. Just think about it. The internet pretty much made the travel agent obsolete. It made the taxi dispatcher irrelevant. And now it's doing the exact same thing to the traditional loan officer by connecting people directly. And this is where the alternative comes in. Welcome to the world of peer-to-peer, or P2P lending. It's a system that completely removes the bank from the loan equation. It creates a direct bridge between the lender, and that could be you, and the borrower. So how does this actually work? It's really straightforward. You, the investor, provide the money. Through platforms like LendingClub or Prosper, you get connected with people who are looking for loans. You can fund just a tiny part of their loan, and in return, you are the one who gets the interest payments. Not some tiny fraction that the bank skims off the top, but the whole thing. Now, this sounds incredibly powerful, and believe me, it is. But cutting out the middleman also means you're taking on a whole new level of responsibility. This comes with a huge potential upside, for sure, but also some very, very real risks that we absolutely need to understand. Let's just look at the raw numbers. Let's say you invested $10,000 over a decade. In a really generous high-yield savings account, we'll say 4%. It grows to just under $15,000. Not bad, but in a P2P portfolio averaging 9.5%, it grows to nearly $25,000. I mean, that difference is just staggering. So the crucial point here is that these kinds of returns, which have historically been averaging between 7 and 12%, they aren't just numbers on a screen. This is the difference between trying to just keep your head above water with inflation and actually building real, tangible wealth. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. It sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? If the returns are so much higher, there has to be a catch. And you are absolutely right. There is. And here it is in one word: defaults. When you become the bank, guess what? You also inherit the bank's number one risk, the very real possibility that the borrower just stops paying you back. And this, right here, is where uninformed investors get totally wiped out. But the professionals, the folks who actually succeed in this space, they get this risk. And they manage it with one single, incredibly important strategy. You could call it the golden rule of lending. Okay, so let's play this out. Imagine you take your $10,000 and you're excited. You find one borrower who seems like a really great bet, and you lend them the entire amount. You've put all your eggs in one single basket. Now, if that one person loses their job or has a medical emergency or for whatever reason defaults on that loan, you lose everything. It's a catastrophic 100% loss. This is what we call the kill zone. So what's the smart way to do it? Well, instead of lending $10,000 to one person, what if you lent just $25 to 400 different people? This is the absolute power of algorithmic diversification. And just like that, the entire risk profile changes. Now, if a few of those 400 people default, and let's be honest, statistically, some of them will, it's not a tragedy. It's just a predictable cost of doing business. The interest you earn from the other 390-something loans that are performing easily covers those small losses, and you're still left with a net profit. You're playing the law of large numbers now. Okay, so you've survived the kill zone. How do you actually put this into practice? Well, the key isn't to become some expert loan analyst trying to pick individual winners. The key is to build a system and then just let it work for you. The smartest P2P investors, they automate everything. First, you choose your platform. Then you set your own personal lending rules. For example, you might decide you only want to invest in borrowers with a credit score above 700. Then you could add another rule, like only lending to people with a debt-to-income ratio, or DTI, below 30%. All that means is that less than 30% of their income is going to debt payments, which is a great sign of stability. Once you set these rules, the algorithm does all the heavy lifting, automatically spreading your money in little $25 chunks across hundreds of loans that meet your exact criteria. It is a true set-it-and-forget-it system for passive income. Now, let's be really clear. This is not a perfect investment, and it is crucial to see both sides of the coin here. On the one hand, yeah, you have the potential for really high returns and a fantastic source of passive income that isn't tied to the daily whims of the stock market. But on the other hand, it is not risk-free. Defaults are just part of the model. And unlike stocks, your money isn't liquid. It's locked in for the life of the loans. And these portfolios can be more vulnerable during a big recession. It is a calculated risk, but it's one that has to be balanced within your overall strategy. So the real takeaway here is about a fundamental shift in your mindset. The old model of just saving your money in a bank account is a guaranteed way to lose your purchasing power over time. The alternative is to stop thinking like a customer and to start thinking like the bank. It means understanding risk, using diversification to manage it, and leveraging technology to put your money to work directly. It means it might be time to stop just saving and start lending.